everybody, this is Randy Santel. Atlas, and this video is a week late. I do apologize for that, but we are still getting it posted. All about week 4 of my Sexification 2021 as of Tuesday, September 7th. Now, just like weeks 1, 2, and 3, I was really happy with my results for week 4, but it was definitely the lowest weight loss of my Sexification so far. I only lost 2.2 pounds. I weighed in on Tuesday morning at 352.6 pounds, and I didn't weigh in on Monday because my mother and father came up for the weekend to visit Katina and I here in Milwaukee, and we had a fun weekend. So I used Monday to diet and get a 3-hour ride in, and then I just weighed in on Tuesday. But yeah, 352.6 pounds, it brought me down 41 pounds for the first 4 weeks. The reason I was happy with how week 4 went is because I took the whole entire week 4 off from biking. I was feeling pretty rough from the first 3 weeks, and then I was getting behind on all my schoolwork and a lot of other stuff on my channels, my social media, everything else, because I was spending so much time not only biking but also walking. During week 4, I also took my step goal down to just 10,000 a day rather than letting Garmin telling me what to do. It was just getting too much. I didn't have any time for that. So I did get caught up with everything during week 4, which was very happy. And even with my mom and dad coming up, not getting my goal of 6 strikes for the week, I still was able to lose 2.2 pounds. So with that, during this video, before we talk about how week 4 actually went and break down the days, I wanted to address very common questions that I get, and I got a lot actually during my 2020 series and just didn't get time to answer them, but a lot of people ask for tips and suggestions on how to lose weight or at least maintain their weight while they are rehabilitating an injury or just not wanting to do a whole lot of exercise and just kind of live a sedentary lifestyle and still lose weight. So we are going to address that in this video, and I hope you guys find it very helpful. And that brings us back to bowling analogies. I know you guys are excited about that. I am too. And now my question to you is, why is it more effective for a bowler to throw a heavier ball versus a lighter ball? The answer is because of force, which is equal to mass times acceleration. Throwing a heavier ball is going to bring more force than, say, a lighter ball thrown at the same speed. And now where am I going with that? Well, the more force you generate with your ball, the less accurate you have to be. Now, if you've ever been to a bowling alley, I'm sure you've watched a whole bunch of different bowlers. There's probably one or more that you saw where they threw their ball, and once it hit the pins, all of the pins just exploded and they got a strike. They might not have even been that accurate. I mean, sometimes if you're throwing a heavy ball quickly at a fast pace, sometimes as long as you hit the head pin at the right spot, the pins just all blow up and you get a strike. Now, on the other hand, the less force you produce with your bowling ball, the more accurate you have to be. If you ever watched a child or just anybody else that either throws a light ball, say 6, 8 pounds compared to a 14 to 16 pound ball, or they just throw the ball really slow, they really have to be accurate in order to throw a strike. Now let's keep all that in mind while we discuss managing your weight while sedentary, whether you are rehabilitating an injury, getting over a sickness, or you just choose for whatever reason not to exercise a whole lot. Well, think about your activity level, your exercise regimen, as what produces the force, just like the bowling ball does on the pins. Now, the higher your activity level, the more calories you're burning, or in a sense, the more force you're producing, the less accurate you need to be with your aim, which is your nutrition. Now, on the other hand, if you're not able to exercise a lot, you're in a sense taking away a lot of the force that you're able to produce. And with less force, you've got to be more accurate with your aim, which is that nutrition. And where I'm going with that is the less active you are, the more conscious you need to be about your nutrition and your caloric intake. Many of you guys know this, but also many of you don't, because I didn't really post about it on YouTube. But back in very late June, right after my birthday, while moving to Milwaukee, while I was in Springfield, I ended up tripping like a fool, and my knee fell right on a thick metal bar, and I had to get 21 stitches. So I was out for a full month, unable to ride or even move around a lot because of where the stitches were in relation to my knee. If I bent my knee too much or overexert it, I might ruin the stitches, and then I'd have to re-get them in again. So I was pretty sedentary during that entire month. So 3 things that helped me. Number 1, most important, I just got done talking about it. I had to come to terms with everything I talked about. I had to keep my calorie intake low, a lot lower than when I'm active. So when I'm doing 3-hour rides, when I'm doing resistance training, plus 10,000 or more steps, I'm burning a lot of calories, so I'm able to eat more and still lose weight. Well, once I hurt my knee, I had to drop pretty much most of my activity level. So in order to account for that limited, almost no activity, especially during those first 2 weeks, I had to really lower my calorie intake to adjust for that so that I could still lose weight. Now, one thing that did help me, I've talked about this in previous videos, my metabolism is a little bit higher just because I'm so big, but I still had to focus on my calorie intake primarily to make sure that I was not overdoing it and eating more calories than my body was burning off. And number 2, to help accomplish that, I had to resist the temptation of eating when I was bored. I made sure that when I was eating, it was because I was hungry and my body needed the healthy nourishment. It can be very tempting to, when you're just sitting around on the computer or watching TV, doing whatever, just sedentary all day, it can be very tempting just for something to do to pick up some snacks. Well, I had to make sure that I resisted those temptations in order to prevent the eating of the excess calories. And I didn't have much beer either. Number 3 is that yes, nutrition is the primary focus, but in regards to activity level, every little bit of movement counts. You can't just think about the big things, the rides, the walks, the hour-long exercise or workouts or whatever. Every little bit counts. So I thought about it. Yeah, I could have been upset at the world. Yeah, my knee was hurt, couldn't move around a lot, but I thought about it, still had my arms and the other leg, so I did whatever I could to still get a little bit of movement. I got some of my dumbbells and I did some arm exercises and stuff like that. Didn't do as much, of course, as a full workout, but I did what I could. And as my knee got better, I started to walk more, do some lighter exercising until I got to the point where I could ride again. Now, tying all this together, my situation is of course different from yours, but we are still all following the same principles. The less active you are, the more accurate you need to be with your nutrition in order to consistently throw strikes and be successful. So I hope this video helped you. Now, let's go downstairs and find out about how my week 4 went. All right, we are down in the dungeon with my calendar. As I said at the beginning, I weighed in on the morning of Tuesday, September 7th, at 352.6 pounds, bringing me down 2.2 pounds for the week, or 1 kilogram, 41 pounds total for the first 4 weeks. So I started out really strong, and as I did say, I didn't do any rides during the entire week 4. I still was able to get my 10,000 steps each day, other than on Sunday. So Monday here, 30th, 31st, Wednesday and Thursday, all of those days I got my 10,000 steps. I threw strike days. I didn't quite get the 6 hours of sleep on Thursday or Monday to start off the week, but the first 4 days went great. And then Friday, I went out with Katina for a nice dinner before my mom and dad got there that evening. I didn't ride, still got my steps, had a pretty good dinner, so I gave myself a spare. I had a peanut butter burger, a cheeseburger that was delicious, definitely worth it. But then mom got there and dad on Friday night, so on Saturday and Sunday, Katina and I had some fun. I didn't get my steps on Sunday. Got a lot of work around the house, that was awesome. But of course, had some good meals with mom and dad. We took them out to some Milwaukee restaurants. I had some beers, but threw open frames on both Saturday and Sunday. And because of that, I did use Monday to get a 3-hour ride in, and I threw a strike, got some sleep that day too. And then because of my Monday, I weighed in on Tuesdays. So really, I'm only working with 6 days in my week 5, but as I showed on Monday, I'm back to riding. I'm gonna dominate. Now, of course, talk about week 5 in the next video, but that is it for this one. If you have any suggestions or feedback, if there's something you'd like me to talk about in an upcoming video, please let me know down in the comments. I'll read all those and respond to the ones I can. But until my next video, this is Randy Santel, Atlas, hoping you guys always, always, always win before you begin. Thank you guys all for watching and all of your positive, encouraging, continued support.